Have you heard of vaping? Do you know anyone that vapes? If not, I will quickly describe what it is. Vaping devices, also known as e-cigarettes, are battery-operated devices that people use to inhale an aerosol, which typically contains nicotine, flavorings, and other chemicals. But let's talk a little about the history behind vaping. The craze surrounding e-cigarettes started in the 2000s. However, history documents that a device similar to our modern-day e-cigarette was first designed almost 100 years ago. In 1927, a New York scientist named Joseph Robinson designed an electric vaporizer to be used with medicinal compounds, but the device was never marketed. Although tobacco companies had also been working on a device since the 60s, the e-cigarette we know today was not invented until 2003 by Chinese pharmacist Han Lik. He invented the e-cigarette as a safer and cleaner way to inhale nicotine. Once his device was first introduced to the Chinese markets in 2004, it reached the European and US markets in 2006 and 2007. From then, the e-cigarette has continued to evolve and grow in popularity. E-cigarette sales worldwide totaled about $19.3 billion in 2019. The main compound featured in e-cigarettes is nicotine. Nicotine is produced by the tobacco plant and has various effects on the brain. So what about nicotine makes it so addicting? Nicotine interacts with specific receptors in the brain called nicotinic receptors. Nicotine causes the release of dopamine in regions of the brain that are involved in reward. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in the brain that affects mood, memory, and sensations of pleasure. When brain dopamine levels rise, the feeling of contentment increases. The more the brain experiences higher dopamine levels, the more often it will crave nicotine. Nicotine also has various effects on the body. When the body is exposed to nicotine, the individual experiences a kick. This is partly caused by nicotine stimulating the autonomic system. This will increase heart rate, breathing activity, and blood pressure. So what are the long-term effects on the body? In the cardiovascular system, persistent use of nicotine causes coronary vascular disease, which occurs when blood flow to the heart itself is reduced. Constant nicotine exposure in the respiratory system causes bronchoconstriction, which leads to several respiratory disorders like emphysema. Nicotine also negatively affects the immune system. Chronic use causes a decrease in immune response and delays wound healing. When someone decides that they want to quit using e-cigarettes, they unfortunately experience withdrawal symptoms because their body has become so accustomed to nicotine. Psychological symptoms of nicotine withdrawal include having a strong desire or craving for nicotine, irritability, difficulty concentrating, anxiety, or mood swings.
E-cigarettes have risen in popularity dramatically since 2007. From 2017 to 2018, e-cigarette use has increased from 11.7% to 20% in high school students. The industry's advertising methods lead people to believe that e-cigarettes are not harmful or addictive, especially compared to traditional cigarettes. Companies spend millions of dollars every year on advertising, and their methods include ways to hide the harmful effects of their products. E-cigarette companies have the ability to be advertised on TV, even though cigarette companies are banned from doing so. This is because they are not included in the Public Health Cigarette Smoking Act of 1969, which regulates advertising on tobacco products. The industry's most common platform is social media, which tends to target the younger population. The popular brand Juul launched a campaign in 2018 called Make the Switch. They encouraged users that e-cigarettes were a safer alternative to traditional cigarettes. The company faced a lot of criticism from major organizations like the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids and the American Lung Association, who wrote a letter to the FDA complaining about ending this campaign. Yet, within the past year, Juul still continues to have a rise in its shares. The popularity in the youth continues to grow, especially since they are attracted to the different flavors as well as the social pressures that come with vaping. Recently, there has been an increase in lung-related injuries and deaths because of e-cigarette use. The government has now restricted tobacco sales to those 21 and over. The FDA recently issued a policy prioritizing enforcement against certain unauthorized flavors, particularly those that appeal to teens. The FDA also intends to prioritize enforcements towards advertising and label regulations that can conceal the dangers of the product.
Deciding to quit can be a difficult process for many. It's important to first identify the reasons why you want to quit. Being clear on why one is changing a behavior can help validate the decision to break that habit and gives a motivation to find a way of coping. Reasons to quit can include the health problems that come along with vaping, to save money, or to protect those loved ones around you from secondhand smoke. Withdrawal symptoms vary from person to person, and each could have a different experience. Nicotine replacement therapy can help with withdrawal symptoms by stopping or reducing them. They come in forms of patches, gums, and inhalers. It provides nicotine at a consistent dose to avoid getting the nicotine rush, while at the same time providing relief from withdrawal symptoms. It could be hard to quit when there are certain triggers that could make you want to vape. It's important to identify these ahead of time and make a plan on how to avoid or deal with them in a healthy way. When a person feels a craving coming on, they can distract themselves in some way until it passes, since a craving usually lasts around 15 to 20 minutes. Creating a list of things to do as a distraction could be helpful. This can include things such as practicing deep breathing, meditating, going on a quick walk, or taking up a new hobby. Taking care of yourself, like exercising, eating well-balanced meals, and staying hydrated, can also help manage cravings. Relapse is fairly common, and it's important to not give yourself a hard time if it happens. Instead, try reminding yourself why you're doing it, how far you've come with your progress, and get the support and encouragement from those around you.